Oh shoot. Clothes are in the back. Good morning, friends, art friends, and art appreciator friends. It's Anoosha Syed here, your resident illustrator extraordinaire, and someone who has not made her tea yet. So it is February 1st. Can't believe it's February already. God lemon, what a year it's been. This week is going to be a bit of a busy week for me because I think I mentioned this in my previous video, but my time at my full-time job is over. I had my last day on Friday last week, and I am back on full-time freelance, which is really exciting, especially because all of my freelance work is starting up again. And if I was also working on my full-time job at the same time, it would be really stressful. I was already kind of struggling a little bit, but I'm glad that, I had a really great time on my project at Atomic Cartoons, and I can't wait to share more of what the thing that I worked on was and where it's releasing and what it is, because it's so cool. And I can't believe that I'm gonna finally have my name in credits again, because the last project that I worked on where I would have credit was Dot, which was 5 years ago, which was a TV series. And I've done a lot of work on cartoons since then, but it's all been development work. And because it's kind of like a small portion, and because like the part that I worked on is like very early stages of designing the show, development artists don't usually get credit at the end, you know. So this is something where I worked on for quite a bit, and I think it's very exciting, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. But for now, it's NDA, so sorry. But yeah, we are back on freelance. I'm actually really excited about it because new year, new approach to working on things, and I had been feeling really art blocked for the past couple of weeks or months, honestly, which no surprise. There's a pandemic going on. Everyone is feeling kind of like burnt out and weird, and I was just not feeling it. But I kind of like woke up this morning with like a spark. I don't know, something feeling kind of different, feeling a little bit more creatively alive, and just like wanting to actually work on art instead of just being like, oh, okay, I have to draw because I have a deadline coming up, because I haven't posted something in a while, and so on and so forth, of just like having to create for the sake of like, because it's your job, and not for the sake of wanting to, because you have a passion for it. And I'm kind of feeling a hint of that passion this morning. So I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be a really good start for the next few weeks. This video is going to be taking you guys into a look at how I work as a freelancer. So if you're new to this channel, hello, I'm Anoosha Syed. I'm a 27-year-old Pakistani Canadian illustrator and character designer for animation. I work as a freelancer full-time as of now, and I work on mostly picture books, but I also dabble in other forms of illustration as well, which you'll see in my week of video. And I thought this video would be kind of interesting, just so that one, you guys can get a sense of what my day-to-day life is like and how I work on these projects. But more importantly, I thought this could be interesting because it'll show you guys how a freelancer working from home, being their own boss, manages their time and projects. Because as you will see, I have multiple projects going on at the same time, and I have to be really smart in how I manage that and make sure everything gets done at the appropriate amount of time and that I'm not scrambling at the end for anything. The bad thing is that I cannot really show you what I'm working on. I can't really show like as I'm drawing stuff, because a lot of the work that I'm working on is still NDA. Picture books that are not going to be released for at least a year, animated pitches which again might not go through or won't be released for another 2-3 years, etc, etc. And so I'll either be blurring things out or just talking about things vaguely or putting like a different image on top. And so it is Monday. My usual workflow is that I wake up around 7:30, usually, because my cat is scratching and meowing at the door, and I usually wake up from that. But me and Dan are already like kind of morning people. We chill around, have breakfast, and then by 9 I'm at my desk and start working on all of my emails. And today is Monday, so what we have on the schedule for today is that I have a call with my accountant at 11 o'clock. I'm going to go over my time management thing, and I'll show you guys that and see how I manage each of my projects and everything, and like space everything out. I have an activity sheet that I have to do the sketches for, which is due on February 9th, but it will be great if I get a start on that. I have a book that I have to start doing interior sketches for. I might try to do 1 or 2 spreads of that today. And I have another book which I have to start doing character exploration on. We'll see if I get to that today. Otherwise, when we go and do my project management thing, we can allot a time for that. Also, because today is February 1st, if you guys don't know, it is apparently Hourly Comics Day, which is where you as an artist, like, you would draw a comic for every hour of the day. We'll see if I actually get that done today or not. I'm gonna attempt to because I did it 2 years ago, I think. I'll share some images for that. I think I was really happy with that, and I'm really glad I did it. My day isn't too busy today, so let's try to attempt it. I might even try to do it in my sketchbook. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'll just do it on my iPad. And my shop is now closed, and I'm going to take this time to kind of update and like create new prints, and I really want to make those earrings, so I think I'm gonna order these supplies, like the Sculpey clay and then like the earring things and the pin backings or whatever I decide to do. I'll order those supplies today, and maybe I'll sometime this week I'll also pre-plan my designs for what the earrings are gonna be. And yeah, let's start this day off. I'm gonna go make some tea, and then we are gonna go figure out how I am going to plan this week out.
Okay, maybe coffee, babe?
Sure. I also forgot to share the very best of news is that I finally figured out how to knit. It took me 3 months, I think, in total, because I think I got my knitting kit in mid-November. And as you know, I've tried multiple times to figure it out and just like restarting and starting, and like the problem was I couldn't figure out that initial how to put like I was able to get like the initial knots on, and then I couldn't transfer it back and forth. I spent hours upon hours trying to do this, and then eventually I just asked Dan I forced him to learn how to knit, and then he figured it out instantly, and then I was like, just teach me please, and then I figured it out, which was great. And so for the past couple of days I've been knitting my scarf, and it is not the prettiest of scarves, but I think I'm trying. So this is what I've got so far. It's a very pretty color. The problem is that I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's like starting to diagonal out, which is not good. It's really not good. I think I kept adding on an extra stitch at the end. So this is going to be a pretty wonky scarf, but let's see how this goes. I might have to watch another tutorial. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. I'm very, very happy with myself. I'm very proud. And I will keep you guys updated as I keep knitting my scarf. And if you guys know what I'm doing wrong and why it's going out diagonally, please let me know. Girl, can you please stop? That's what I thought. All right, I have 30 minutes until my appointment, or well, call with my accountant. We're pretty much just going to be going over tax type things because it is tax season coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later after I have my call, but I just wanted to share, I did start doing a couple of my hourly comics, which I'll show you right now. So I've been trying to keep them pretty simple. I've just been using the my 6B pencil, as well as a combination of like one of Max Ulickney's dry or comic brushes. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. So I started one of like nighttime. I'm really trying to keep these as simple as possible, like not even doing a under sketch layer to start off with. Most likely I'm just going to go straight into inking like a quick sketch, and then I'm going to do a light gray and yellow color underneath layer. I'll do that now for this one just so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see, I like this yellow, And what I'm gonna do is, I really like doing this for my comics. I did a couple comics around this time last year, actually. And I really got into it pre-pandemic, and then I stopped because it was a lot of work and my mind was otherwise occupied with other things. But I do like the style of keeping things like really graphic, just like very strong shapes. So kind of something like this, and then one like this. I think I'll do like a triangle for this one. Keeping things outside of the lines, and I'll add a little bit of gray as well. Oh, you know what, let's make the honey yellow as well. And then gray for the bacon. I have way too much other stuff to do today, so I'm trying to keep these as simple as possible. So this is what like a finished comic would look like. This was when I was trying to do my makeup, and then my cat munched on me while I was curling my eyelashes, and I almost tore my eyelashes off. And this is what you literally saw me like 2 minutes ago when I was filming. And I'm gonna continue doing like 2 more of these, I think, and then I'll have my call with my accountant, and then I will start off the rest of my day. Well, I finished the call with my accountant and it went really, really well. Guys, I am so happy with my new accountant. Because like before last year, for the past like 3 years, I had been using my dad's accountant, which was working fine, but they weren't really well versed in like the kind of things that I needed as a freelancer who deals with a bunch of different clients, mostly based in the US. So it was getting really complicated. And so late last year, I was like, you know what? I need to figure something out. I'm going to try to find someone new. And for me personally, the main things I was looking for was, one, had experience dealing with freelancers, had experience with US clients, and then thirdly, and I guess this was my own picky thing, was that I wanted someone that I could have a good relationship with. And my dad was like, they're your accountant, you don't need to like them, they're just going to be doing their job. But I don't know, like with me, with all of the people that I've hired, for me it was really important to be able to have like good conversations with them, and I wanted someone that I could call or email like literally whenever and just be like, I don't understand this, I got an email from the CRA, I'm scared, please help me, I don't understand. Because for those of you who don't know, I am horrible with my finances. I am really bad with numbers. I'm pretty sure I have dyscalculia, where numbers scare me. My dad can tell you that whenever I've been doing my taxes for the past few years, or just dealing with my finances in general, I will start crying. I will just immediately start crying, because whenever I start thinking about math and numbers, it just doesn't make sense in my head. In my accountant, I really want someone who could be patient and explain things to me and like really help me with literally everything. Because the other thing about my old accountant, they kind of assumed that I knew how to do the stuff when I did not. And so I wanted someone who could treat me like a baby and really dumb it down for me. And I was able to find someone, and she had like a very big sister vibe, and she reminded me a lot of my older sister actually. I really like her so far. She's been super helpful. And I think it's really important. Obviously, having an accountant, having an agent, they're all like, they're additional expenses, of course. But as a freelancer, as an artist, my priority was spending my time on my artwork and not having to deal with the finance portions, with like the administration portions of my work, because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. And if I can delegate it to other people, that just makes my business work better. Even though it is kind of a big expense, I thought it would be worth it. It is now, let me see, 11:30. So I should probably start to actually work. As you can see, it takes me so long, even though I start my day at 9 o'clock, it takes me so long to actually sit down and start working, which is not good. It's not good. Probably in the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna spend my time explaining to you guys what my schedule system is like. And then it'll be 12, and then I have to cook lunch. So, and then I eat lunch. And then most likely my workday will start at 1 o'clock. Hopefully tomorrow I can actually sit down and work at 9, but we'll see about that. This is what being a freelancer is like. Time just escapes you. I don't know where the time goes. It's crazy. Yeah, let's go through my time management process because clearly I need it. So here you can see my project worksheet. I took a course a couple of weeks ago, or maybe months ago, by Lisa Congdon. This is the Workflow Time Management and Productivity for Creatives. I really enjoyed this class. It was super helpful, and I did learn quite a bit on it, on how to better manage my time as an artiste. One of the things that she mentioned is how to format your workflow and everything. I highly suggest that you check out the course. These are all of the projects that I'm working on at this current time, but obviously I'm not working on them at exactly the same time because some of them they go through breaks in between, some of them they are waiting to start, etc, etc. And so I have this sorted out by large scale projects versus medium scale projects versus small scale. Large scale meaning any of my projects which take a really long time to complete. This is usually going to be my picture book projects that run up to 6 months at a time. And then I have my medium scale, which are a bit smaller than that, usually 2 months max, 3 months maybe. And then finally my small scale projects, which are the ones that I can get done within a week, maybe even a day or two. So this lets me know kind of like what my priorities are and like an overall idea of what I am working on at any given moment. I'm gonna quickly brief you on what each of those are. I've changed all of their names as well as who I'm working with, etc., because a lot of it is secret. But here we go. I have one picture book which I literally just started. I have character sketches that are due on February 28th, so I do have a little bit of time on that. Then I have another picture book, and then finally I have Monster and Boy number 3. If you guys don't know, I illustrated a book series. The first one came out last year in July, Monster and Boy Book 1. It is a chapter book series with like black and white illustrations inside. Really fun, super cute, definitely check it out. The second book is coming out in March 2nd, and I'm currently working on the third book. I finished up the sketches for that already, and I'm waiting for approval so that I can start the final illustration. We'll see when that happens. Hopefully I have a little bit of time because I wanted to work on my other stuff right now, but if it starts up soon, that is totally okay as well. Note, I also include what I'm paid for each of these projects here, but I've also left that blank for now because that is something I cannot share. Anyway, medium scale projects are much smaller. I've mentioned that I'm a character designer for animation, so I do a lot of development work for studios, and sometimes I am asked to do a little bit of art for pitches. I'm going to find out when the deadlines are, but it's probably going to be mid-February as well. So a lot of things piling up. Another medium scale project I have is a magazine spread, but this is going to be a 2-page spread for a short story. As you can see on this section, I tried to write down what the description is and then a rough idea of the deadlines, and the more information that I have, the better. So I also like to include my contact information of who I'm working with, so that would include the email address and the name of the art director or the client. Small scale projects are those quick and easy ones. I have book cover that I'm working. I submitted the sketches already for that, and I'm just waiting on approval so I can start final art. Throw and Co is something really cool. And then lastly, this is not like really art related, but if you guys know, I have a graphic novel anthology that's coming out soon. There's this book series and a TV show called Last Kids on Earth, and their latest book that's coming out I think in May, and so marketing asked me to make like a promotional video for that. So this is an overview of everything I've got going on, and just looking at this I know what I have due and what my February is like. Well, it's 2 o'clock now, and I'm finally going to get to work on drawing because this entire time, guess what I've been doing? I've been answering emails, doing all of the administration stuff, all of that fun stuff that comes with being a freelancer. As you can see, drawing does not take up that much of my day-to-day work day, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So just to like briefly go over what I've done so far today. After my call with my accountant, I had to fill out my payroll stuff as well as signing my tax forms, my tax returns and everything. Oh, I don't even want to think about that anymore. I'm working on a pitch for something that I may or may not write. So I was just writing up stuff for that. We'll see if anything comes from it. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm that great of a writer, but we shall see. So I was just working on that, which I've been putting off for about a month. I'm doing some character work
for like an animated pitch as well. Again, can't say anything about it, but just going over the contracts and negotiations for that. I think I mentioned before, my agent that I have, she deals only with my publishing projects. So she'll handle the finances, she'll handle the negotiations and how much I should be earning and all of that. But she doesn't cover anything that falls outside of the publishing area. So any other illustration work that goes outside of publishing, as well as all of the animation stuff. So it's up to me to figure out, okay, how much do I want to charge for my work and how to ask for more if need be. That's kind of the stuff that I've been figuring out right now. And as per my previous how to illustrate picture books, I think I mentioned that I wanted to do a video on how to negotiate with clients to get you the fees that you want. And that's going to be coming in the future. Don't worry about it. And now that I actually get to start drawing now, the main thing I'm going to be working on today is that I sometimes work on a magazine called Chickadee. It's like a children's magazine that's based in Canada. I have done a couple of contributions for them, like an activity page I did one time. I did a puzzle another time. They're really fun to work with, and it's nice kind of in between project I get to work on between like my big stuff. Though right now all of my big stuff is starting up again, so I am trying to get this done as quickly as possible before my big stuff really kicks in. So basically, this is not an activity page. This is going to be like a short story, and I'm just doing it's like a 2-page or 2-spread short story, and I have to do some illustrations that go around it. So I have to submit the sketches for that by February 9th, and then I have another month to do the final art. So I have a week to do these sketches. I'm going to try to get that done within the next 2 days and submit that just in case they need some time for the revisions. And then after that, I'm going to work on the interior sketches for a book project that I'm currently working on. And again, we're going to try to get 2 pages done today. Some other stuff that I want to try to get done is that my shop is currently closed, and I want to put out some new merch, especially the clay earrings that I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to order some of those supplies, like the Sculpey clay, the cutting tools, the UV light, as well as the resin, and the earring tops, the hooky things or whatever. So I'll order all of those, and then maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we are going to come up with a couple of designs for what they could be. So the other thing that I have to work on this week, which I've been putting off for a couple months now, is that this artist who I really like and admire, Trevor Bassett, he's got a really cool graphic style, and he's also the senior designer at Starbucks, which is so cool. Like most of the designs I think that you see like on the boards and the special events and whatever that they've got going on, the gift cards and whatnot, I'm pretty sure they're all designed by him. His art is super cool. I really recommend you guys check it out. But the other thing I think he does on his side is this website called Throw & Co., which is a bunch of throws, like blankets, that are designed by different artists. And they are so cool, and I've been meaning to buy one of these for quite some time because all of the blankets are so cool. And every time he posts one up, I'm just like, I really, really want to do one of these. And then I guess he heard me in my mind. He mind read me, because in December he shot me a DM and he's like, hey Anoosha, I love your work. Would you be interested in designing a throw? And I was like, heck yeah, I would love to. He didn't give like a concrete deadline or anything like that, which I appreciated, but I'm giving a deadline for myself, otherwise it's never going to get done. So I'm going to try to come up with a design for a throw. So I want to try to think of something that I would want to buy for myself, because hopefully other people might want to buy it too. So we are going to attempt to do that as well this week. We shall see. Girl! Hello, it is Tuesday, and once again,
I'm wearing the exact same outfit. I can't help having 3 comfy outfits. I promise you I have more clothes than what I currently wear on screen, but I'm at home working and I don't want to dress up. Also, I am #no makeup. You'll probably notice that for my informative educational videos, I'll really doll myself up. And then for my vlogs, I revert back into my goblin appearance. I'm working from home, I don't care. I treated you guys to a makeup look for Monday, but for the rest of the week, you're gonna have to take what you can get. Also, my cat is my cat is once again going crazy in the background. So all in all, I actually did not end up getting that much work done yesterday, at least not in the art sense. I got a lot of like administration things, finance, whatever stuff done. So many emails, so many emails, but hopefully that clears things up for the rest of the week. So I did get the initial sketches for that Chickadee magazine spread done, just like my very base sketches. And then on top of that, I'm just gonna clean them up and then hopefully I'll get that done before 12 and then submit that over. And I'll show you a peek of that. Girl! And hopefully I'll get that done before 12 and I will try to show you a peek of that. And then I'll work on the interior illustrations for my picture book project. Oh yeah, I also have a meeting sometime today with, for like an animated pitch that I'm working on. We're just gonna be discussing contracts and whatever before we actually finalize everything. As you can see, meetings upon meetings upon emails. Very little drawing, which is okay. It's all good. The other thing I'm going to try to do today is maybe work on a new educational YouTube video. I'm trying to decide between working on one on pricing, one on negotiation, or maybe one on... I had a third idea, but I can't remember now. I don't know. So I'll start researching on that and start preparing my script for that. I also didn't finish my hourly comics. I got up to like hour 11 and then gave up just because I got so busy. But that's okay, there's always next year. I applaud anyone who got through the entire 24 hours of that comic. Good job to you. Good job. You wanna leave? Then leave! So this is how much I've gotten done already for this page, which I'm going to show you in a second. I have blurred out the text so you cannot read it, but basically they sent over the layout and I have to do a full illustration over here and a spot over here. And then there's an additional page which I'm going to show you. But for now, I've sketched out just a rough sketch of what my concept is, and this is going to go in for approval. And then once I get the approval and any revisions, then I'm going to move on to color. And then for the other one, got to do 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. And this is my very initial rough sketch. You can see how rough I go. This is just like to sketch out, kind of like thumbnails, I guess, to sketch out my initial ideas. I'm just going to go over them as a cleaner sketch, and then I will show you what that looks like in, let's say, an hour. Alright, I'm done. As you saw already, I had my page number 1 looking like this. And now for the big reveal, started off with my really rough base sketch over here, and then we have my completed sketches now. So I'm gonna send this over for review. As you can see, my sketch round is still pretty rough, obviously not as rough as this guy over here, but it's still pretty rough. Once I send it over to the client, they'll probably have a couple of revisions for me, especially with how I interpreted the text and the story and everything. So we'll see what they think of it, but hopefully it's all good and then I can move to color. I'm definitely ahead of schedule because this was due on February 9th and it is the 2nd today, which is great. Hopefully they give me feedback early so I can finish this early because I believe this is due like mid-March. But the earlier that I finish my freelance work, the better. So that's all good. And now we can move on to my other thing that I have to work on. Well, unfortunately, I didn't film at all yesterday on Wednesday, partially because I was super busy with work and I had a couple of errands and appointments to attend to. So unfortunately, I couldn't film any of that, but that is fine. Today's Thursday and I got so much work done. I'm super ahead of schedule. So just to catch you guys up, I have just completed that animated pitch I was supposed to work on, or well, not completed it. I did these sketches for it and it's sent off for approval. Finished that up this morning, sent it out. I finished up the interiors for that one picture book. I finished up the magazine spreads. I spent so much time working on my taxes yesterday. So I've got my 2020 taxes paid off as well as my payroll and all of that like really annoying stuff. So I'm so glad that's out of the way. So the main thing that I'm going to be working on now is that, as you guys remember, I have the Monster and Boy Book 3 interior to work on. I was just waiting for the revisions to get back to me, the art notes from the art director, so that I could start working on that. And yesterday evening I received those, and so I'm super excited to start that back up again. And if you guys haven't read the previous books, yeah, it's a chapter book for younger kids, so it's mostly text and then with a bunch of black and white with a small amount of color. There's usually one spot illustration on every page or sometimes a spread. I'll put some examples up over here so you can see from like the previous books. The schedule is a little bit flexible, so I have about like 6 weeks to work on this, and it is quite a bit of work in the sense that there are 77 illustrations that I have to work on, and these range from spots and spreads. The complicated thing is to figure out my time management. Thankfully, since these are like my chapter book illustration style, so it's mainly just black line art with a little bit of grayscale or one amount of color. So these really don't take me that long. So 6 weeks for a fully colored 77 illustration book, that would be ridiculous. 6 weeks doesn't make any sense. But because of the amount of work that these illustrations actually take, 6 weeks is totally doable. But I do have to figure out how much time I'm going to spend on each one and make sure I get everything done before the deadline. I did this with book 2 as well. And so what I've done basically is that I've written out every single illustration that I have, and there are 77 of them, and I'm going to assign each one of those a date of when it's due. So if I have, and I'm going to do some math now. It is February 4th today, and I have until March 10th. So let's quickly count up the days. Okay, so including weekends, I have 35 days to complete those 77 illustrations. And I'm going to write that down really quick, otherwise I'm going to forget. Hi, can I help you? Yes. Excuse me? Okay, 35 days including weekends and 25 days without. I'm going to do the calculation for both of them. Hopefully I don't have to work on weekends because ideally, no one wants to work on the weekends, and I'm trying to establish work-life balance. But let's try to figure this out. If I divide 77 by 25, that gives me around 3 illos per day to complete, whereas if I work on the weekends, it is 2 illos per day. Going by my previous track record on the previous 2 books, I think 3 illustrations per day is totally reasonable. I know some of them take a little bit longer, and I also remember some people asked me for some of my previous books, like, do I work on them chronologically, like page 1, page 2, etc., or if I work on the hardest ones first and the easiest ones at the end, and vice versa. Normally, I do work on my picture books in chronological order. I'll do the first page first and then the last one at the end. But for this series, because there are so many, I do prefer to do all of the easy ones at the beginning. And then every time I find one that's kind of complicated or a spread that's really intense, I'll leave that to the end. But yeah, I think 3 illos per day is totally reasonable. And now what I'm going to do is, again, today's the 4th, I'm going to assign a due date for every single one of those illustrations, just going 3 for each day and then making sure I'm not giving myself any work on the weekends. So I'm going to type that up really quick and we will see how it looks. Oh, just for your reference, I'm going to have this part blurred out so you can't see what it says, but basically I've organized my file by chapter, and then this number indicates what number illustration it is, so it goes from 1 to 77, and then the number beside it refers to what page number it's at, and then the text beside it was like my original art notes that I got from the art director, basically telling me what the illustration is even going to be about. And that's the description that I used to originally sketch out my initial concepts. And so I am going to get rid of all of those descriptions because I don't need them anymore. And you can kind of see what I'm doing now. If I'm going to start today, which is the 4th, I have 3 due today. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 3 due on the 5th, 1, 2, 3, and then on the 6th. And oh, wait, what's the weekend? Hold up. Oh, my bad. So the 6th is a weekend, so we're going to cross that off real quick. 8, my bad. We are not working on the weekends. So I'm basically going to do this whole thing down the row, making sure I'm not working on the weekends, and hopefully I will have a good schedule to follow. And that's it. I've got all of my dates set up. Unfortunately, I do have to do 4 drawings on the 10th, just because 77 divided by 25 is not exactly going to give you 3 a day. It's going to be 3.2 or something. The good thing is that the art director said that the schedule is pretty flexible. So if worst case scenario, I don't get everything done by the 10th, that's okay. But I do want to try to attempt to be on schedule. And since I'm not working on the weekends, if I do feel like I'm kind of falling behind over the week, then I can just catch up on the weekend to make sure that I'm back on schedule by the next Monday. So I guess I'm gonna work on these 3 initial drawings today, and I actually want to show you a little teeny peek into my process, partially so you guys know how I work, and also because Monster and Boy book 2 is going to be coming out on March 2nd, I believe, so literally a month away. And if you guys have read the first book and you enjoyed it, you should definitely check out the second one and pre-order it. I have left a link in the description box below so you can check that out, and if you haven't seen book 1, then maybe check that out too. I'm really happy with the work that I did on it. It's definitely a very different style than I usually work on. It's definitely more graphic, and I get to
be way more stylized than I'm usually able to with my picture books. So I'm going to first give you a brief look over at Monster and Boy Book 1 because I have that published and in my hands right now. Because I haven't done like one of my deep dives into this book yet like I did for Rise Up and I Am Perfectly Designed. But I would like to one day. But until then, I'm just going to do a quick little peek right now. And then I'm going to get to work on Book 3 interiors and just do like a quick little look into how I do that. So here I have 2 copies of Monster and Boy. This first one is actually my advanced reader copy that I got a few months before the book actually came out. You can see it's not like the final copy. You can see that it's like paperback. The page quality, I think the paper quality is a little different as well. And it's just the advanced reader copy, not for sale, is to send out for promotion to like different authors and also to get an idea of what the book is going to look like when it's finished. But this is what it actually looks like when it's done. And you can see it's like slightly bigger as well. Very pretty cover, very pretty. My name is here, Anoosha Syed, and it's also over here. I really like that I got to hand illustrate the text over here. But yeah, looking through to the interiors, beautiful yellow inside. So you can see here what I mean by like its 3-tone color. And oh, this is really funny and actually kind of sad. I illustrated this book in 2019. Yes, 2019. And I got engaged and everything. And this was my original wedding date. And then because of COVID, it got delayed. And so I have my old wedding date memorialized in this book forever, even though it's not my actual wedding anniversary. Oh well. So yeah, here you can see what I mean. You've got a black line art with gray tone as well as blue highlight. I use the blue kind of sparingly. Well, maybe not so much over here, but I like to use it sometimes around just to add like a bit of a pop of color. And the way that I usually do color is that I try to do like a kind of mid-century modern kind of graphic style, really playing around with blank spaces, what is it called, negative space, and having colors slightly bleeding out of the line art. I think it adds like a really fun touch to it. This is one of my favorite illustrations that I did. Definitely my favorite. I think it's always fun to play around with framing the text or try to incorporate the text. So over here I have the speech bubble framing around the text. I think it makes it feel a little bit more seamless, or adding raindrops around, just like these fun elements. This is also a page I really like. But yeah, this was book 1 and book 2 is coming out March 2nd, and now we are working on book 3. As always, I worked entirely on my iPad on the app Procreate. I have like a different folder for each of my projects. I'm not going to exit out in case you guys see my other secret stuff. But yeah, as you can see, I've previously sketched out roughly each of my spot and spread illustrations. And because I have like the proportions and everything correct, I'm really just going to go into the page. And so I'm going to give you a sneak peek into, let's say, this one. So normally the text would go on the side over here. I have it on a layer, but I am not going to show you guys. I'm going to use this as my base layer and just have this on a lower opacity, new layer. And I have to make sure that I'm labeling my layers correctly, because as you saw in the book, you have like the black line art, you have gray tone, and then you have like the blue pop of color. The cool thing is that it's blue in book 1, it's red in book 2, and in this book it's green. But I do have to make sure that everything is on its own precise layer, just so when they're printing, they have everything set up nicely. So I'll have one labeled line art, one labeled gray, and one labeled green. As for brushes, you guys already know. You guys know what's up. It's my default 6B pencil brush. As always, I am going to now just draw over my line art and then add in my gray tone as well as my green underneath. And I'm going to cut to the music now. Before I forget, I do have to add in my original concept designs before any
picture book project, I usually start with like a character design phase to figure out what the characters are going to look like, and I end up with like a finished product. I always use this, if you remember from my picture book video that I recently put out, I usually use this as the basis of referencing it for all of my other illustrations. And I do this mostly so that I don't end up with characters who are completely off model. Because like even just like looking right now at, well, I should not have, first of all, I should not have flipped horizontal because I'm seeing all of my mistakes here, but I'm just going to ignore that. So you can see that like some things are looking a little bit off model. His nose is a little bit too wide. His hair's kind of messed up. I think he's a little bit too wide from the bottom as well. So I just gotta have to make sure that I'm referencing these designs when I'm working on this. So let's get to work.
When we were young, running from all things at once, without thinking twice. And I knew it would catch up, and that we would be the ones left behind. The stories I've been told, they never seem to leave my mind. And this road that I am on, I gotta stay here for some time. Time is gone and I grew up. I somehow made it through without losing sight. And I still wonder where you are, and if you found a way out from the dark. The stories I've been told, they never seem to leave my mind. And this road that I am on, I gotta stay here.
At this point, I'm done with the line art layer, and I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my color. I'm still using the same 6B pencil brush, by the way.
Bruises, they come and they go, and we have to try and keep up, 'cause this life's so much more. Seek me out.
Actually, just for my reference, I ended up making a palette which includes all of the grays that I use, as well as the green that I'm supposed to use now. In this illustration, I actually only used the green once, and that would be for boys' glasses, which I'm going to quickly add now. One of the great things I like about this book is I like the style that I established over here. It's super stylized. It's very reminiscent of like kids' drawings. Intentionally messy. I don't really care about the fact that I'm going over lines, that they're not completely filled. I'm really just trying to go for appeal and something that gives like a fun kid-like quality. Adding in like these cross hatches over here and things like that. You know what? I forgot his eyebrows, so I'm going to have to quickly add those in. But otherwise, I am pretty much done. Shoot, I almost forgot. The other really fun thing about Monster and Boy is like I've added all of these like little captions and quotations, again, to give it like a kid-like, a diary feel maybe. So I do get to play with typography and hand lettering and all sorts of fun stuff. So over here, I'm just writing down, since this is the first page, who these characters are. So we've got Monster and we've got Boy. There you go. So if you can imagine the text being over here, illustration over here, I think this is a pretty good start so far. So the most satisfying thing is every time I complete one of these illustrations, I will just highlight and highlight them. So these are the ones that I completed yesterday, and I actually got one of the number 5 ones done today. So this way I'm able to track to see how much I've done overall, as well as just get a very satisfying kick out of highlighting the ones that I've done for the day. Hello friends, happy Saturday. Now you might be wondering, Anoosha, aren't you missing a day? Isn't there something that comes in between Thursday and Saturday? And you know what? There is. Yesterday, the thing is that I completely forgot I had a wisdom tooth extraction on Friday. So I was not looking forward to it at all. I hate the dentist, so I've been putting it off for a while, but finally I was like, you know what, I better just get this done already. My appointment was in the morning at around 11:30, so I tried to get all of my 3 daily Monster and Boy illustrations done, which I did, and then headed off to get my teeth out, and then Dan was in the car waiting for me. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Just a quick 5-minute thing, honestly. But obviously for the rest of the day, I was pretty much out of commission and I did not work. And so Friday was kind of a bust. And so today, it's Saturday, I don't have to do Monster because, as you remember, make sure in my calendar I wouldn't be working on weekends, so that's good. But the main thing that I have to be catching up on today, the animated pitch sketches that I sent over. I got some feedback from them and they weren't really going in the right direction, my initial designs, and so I have to tweak them up a bit following the feedback I got, which is totally fine. I'm just happy to try to make sure my drawings are in line with their vision. So that is mainly what I'm going to be working on today. I'm just going to be working in bed because I still don't feel great. And honestly, there is a lesson to be had from all of this. At the start of this video, at the start of this week, I had so many plans for all of these things that I wanted to do. And I think I got through 50% of them. And most of my time was spent with admin stuff, with finance stuff, and all of that kind of boring stuff, with only a small amount actually dedicated to work. And I never got to work on any of my personal projects, like my shop stuff. I didn't get a chance to get around to throw and co. And at first I thought, okay, this is going to be a really boring video for you guys. There's pretty much nothing going on, and all of the content that I'm putting forward is just admin boring stuff. But honestly, this is what being a freelancer is like. I absolutely love my job and I love drawing. I love the stuff that I create and the clients that I work for. But at the end of the day, it's still a job and it comes with all of like the boring bits as well. And I thought that even though maybe this is a more boring video than what I usually put out, it might be a bit informative so you guys get an idea of what's in store if you are thinking about having a freelance career, or if you are kind of starting out and you're just like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right or not. I don't know, I hope this was helpful. I was considering maybe doing another day and then actually working on Throw and Co and some of the other stuff, but this video is already an hour long, and so I think I'll just dedicate another video for that and just leave it at this for now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little peek into what it's like being a freelance illustrator. Maybe I'll try to do another one of these again because this week was not that exciting and most of the work that I did was initial sketchy stages. As my projects develop forward, I'm gonna be moving on to like the color changes in a lot of my projects, and maybe I could focus on that for a week. I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Foxville_art. I'm on TikTok now, by the way. I'm also Foxville_art on TikTok. I'm still trying to figure that out, but if you want to check me out over there, I'm there as well. The rest of today and the next week, I'm just having soup and ice cream and more ice cream. Have a wonderful rest of the day, you guys. Bye.